In 2016, with a handgun tucked in the waistband of his pants, a terrified Auckland drug courier arrived for a meeting, convinced a police Eagle helicopter was tracking him. But this wasn't a rendezvous with a rival gang, it was for a lie detector test, while the man who ordered it, Don Yoza, wasn't even in the country. This documentary aims to present an honest and unfiltered account of the case surrounding former New Zealand drug lord Xavier Valent. Xavier Valent, birth name Harry Whitehead, was born on the 26th of January 1989. While having a relatively normal upbringing, his home life was rather unsettled. His parents separated, and he became estranged from his father, instead being raised by his grandfather, whom he reportedly adored. But when he passed away, while Valent was still young, it seemed to exacerbate Valent's descent. He was expelled from a few schools, but eventually attended Auckland Grammar School, located in the suburb of Epsom in central Auckland. This detail was the headline many news reports ran with, the shocking contrast of a prestigious student turned kingpin, but the reality on the ground was much more complex. Despite achieving academically, he was also known to associate with the local small-time Auckland street gangs, and by his late teenage years, he was already a pretty large-scale drug dealer, dealing mostly in LSD and GHB. In 2010, at age 21, he was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison for possession and distribution of narcotics. Valent referred to this first prison stint as university, a place where he made crucial connections and learned the tradecraft to take his criminality to the next level. Upon his release around April 2015, Valent set out on a new venture with an associate he met in prison. They initially focused on importing the methamphetamine precursor chemical, ephedrine. This first set of charges, later part of an investigation codenamed Operation Collision, involved importing more than 70 kilograms of the chemical in the year of 2016. But as customs and police began investigating his nascent operation, they started to make links between ephedrine packages arriving at properties in South Auckland and started arresting Valent's associates. Valent fled New Zealand in late 2016 and based himself overseas, traveling on a British passport under the alias Troy Carlton. From overseas, Valent would build his empire. From 2016 to 2020, Valent built and controlled a sprawling international drug cartel as the Kingpin or Mr. Big. Police alleged the syndicate imported over a ton of methamphetamine, MDMA, cocaine, and ephedrine into New Zealand over a 3-year period. At its peak, the cartel was allegedly making between $800,000 to $1 million a week in cold hard cash. Valent controlled all aspects of the operation from overseas, with no evidence suggesting anyone was above him in the hierarchy. He sourced product from countries including the UK, China, Panama, and Colombia, where they could be bought cheaply and sold at a huge markup back in New Zealand. From a logistical standpoint, the operation was incredible. Narcotics were smuggled via airmail and courier, with books being a common method, as the organic paper would disrupt the postal scanners at the time. He operated like a real micromanager, maintaining daily control via the encrypted messaging app Wicca, disguising his true identity with aliases like Focus, Global Trading, Orchestrator, and Don Yoza. He issued a list of daily detailed instructions to his employees to deliver or collect narcotics and cash, as well as frequent stocktake requirements. He even used 10 Crack Commandments, a song by the notorious B.I.G., as a code of good tradecraft for his workers. To run the New Zealand side, Valent recruited a network of associates, often targeting vulnerable people battling drug addiction or facing financial strife. He enlisted friends, as well as another associate he met in custody, who went on to manufacture methamphetamine at his direction in a decrepit hut in Whangaruru, Northland. The network was highly structured, with workers being paid salaries that could be docked for poor performance. These workers were given different roles. Catchers provided addresses to receive the imported parcels. One catcher, Sam James Edmonds, was a former methamphetamine addict paid in meth and modest cash. Runners delivered the drugs and collected the money. One employee described using Lime e-scooters to make up to 20 wholesale deliveries a day. Storers would package and cut the drugs into smaller wholesale amounts. This included Jose Marie Torres Macalalad, Peter Donghai Kim, and even Mirtha Susan Ramos Mazuela, the 59-year-old mother of Valent's top NZ lieutenant. That lieutenant was Hugo Alarcon Ramos. He, along with Terry Treasurer, sat closer to the top and were mainly entrusted with handling large amounts of cash. Valent's control was absolute. Following a safe house robbery in 2016, he hired Craig Gubbins, a former NZSIS officer, to administer polygraph tests to his frightened workers. Valent, who emailed the tester from overseas at 3 a.m. in the morning, wanted to know who was ratting on him. One man reportedly turned up for the test, terrified, and claiming he was being chased by a police Eagle helicopter with a handgun tucked in the back of his pants. While his network operated in fear, Valent lived a lavish lifestyle. He sent a postcard from the Maldives to one of his workers. Signed Don Yoza, it promised riches and luxury with the added note of a little taste of what the future holds. While Valent built his empire, New Zealand police were building a case, Operation Mystic. An 8-month-long investigation run by the National Organised Crime Group began around June 2019. The lead investigator, Detective Sergeant John Sota, described it as probably the largest drug investigation that he'd ever been involved with. Police used an Interpol Blue Notice, an international request to collect information on Valent's whereabouts for several years before being able to request an Interpol Red Notice, a global alert calling for his arrest. The investigation was sprawling. As one reporter noted, if you imagine a drug operation out of the movies, this was it. Detectives were breaking into storage lockers and apartments, placing covert listening devices, then retreating to the safety of their clandestine lookout spots to observe the suspects in question. In the month of November 2016, an older woman from the rural countryside, known only as Witness 1, was arrested. She was recruited by Valent as a catcher in exchange for protection of her jailed son. She quit in October 2016, later stating, "He could burn the house, break my legs. I didn't care. I just wasn't doing it anymore." The authorities had her full cooperation. A pivotal moment occurred in mid-2019 when a downtown Auckland apartment used as a meth den by 2 other witnesses caught fire. The pair went on the run before later turning themselves in. To build trust, the police arranged supervised visits with the witnesses and their children who had been taken into state care due to the parents' lifestyles. This trust was crucial in convincing them to testify. In late 2019, a botched plan to import 500 kilograms of methamphetamine from the island nation of Tonga via a yacht was foiled. A syndicate member reportedly got drunk, resulting in their confession about the scheme. In the month of February 2020, police terminated Operation Mystic. They executed search warrants at 11 properties across Auckland, ending in the arrests of 10 people. More than $1 million in cash was seized, along with high-end vehicles and multiple firearms, including a military-style rifle. And on February 2, 2020, the key player himself, Xavier Valent, was arrested at the Italian border only moments after he landed on an interconnecting flight from Hong Kong via Istanbul. When he was arrested, the daily instructions to his syndicate in New Zealand ceased immediately, causing widespread panic among the members. In the month of October 2020, Xavier Valent was extradited from Italy to New Zealand. He was taken to Paremoremo prison under COVID-19 quarantine rules. While awaiting trial, he was held at least for parts of his incarceration in the high-security prisoners of Extreme Risk Unit, a unit set up for the country's most dangerous and disturbing inmates, including the Christchurch shooter. While he was there, he tried filing a judicial review requesting hair-cutting scissors, stating he did not want to look like a barbarian before the jury. A judge rejected the request, stating that the prison's offer of hair clippers was a reasonable solution, as its primary duty was to maintain security and not a fancy haircut. The trial for Valent and his co-defendant Terrick Treasurer began in the Auckland High Court in February 2023 before Justice Sally Fitzgerald. Valent technically represented himself, though he was assisted by 2 lawyers acting as amicus curiae, or friends of the court, Nicholas Leader and Samadou Thode. On the first day of the 6-week trial, he had a strange outburst claiming the trial was illegitimate and wanted no part in it. He did not speak again for the rest of the marathon trial, appearing largely emotionless and wearing a face mask the whole time. The Crown prosecution presented evidence from investigators, the polygraph examiner, and 4 cooperating witnesses who all had name suppression. These witnesses testified in exchange for immunity or lighter sentences. They detailed their motivations, including drug addiction, financial strife, and a desire to protect their loved ones from retribution. The defense did not present evidence, but instead, Valent's friends of the court argued the point of identity, that the Crown could not prove, beyond reasonable doubt, that he was the man behind the aliases, Focus, and Global Trading. In the month of April 2023, after 2 days of deliberation, the jury returned unanimous verdicts. Tarek Treasurer was found guilty on 3 representative charges, while Xavier Valent was found guilty on 86. These 86 charges span the full gambit of importing, manufacturing, possession for supply, and supply of significant quantities of narcotics. The sentencing for his co-offenders was staggered. The lieutenants received heavy sentences. Hugo Alarcon Ramos, the syndicate's top lieutenant, was sentenced in September 2020 to 12 years in prison. Tarek Treasurer was sentenced in June 2023 to 7 years and 8 months. Ironically, his professional history not only included nearly 2 years at post-haste couriers, but he also described himself on LinkedIn as a highly motivated and organized individual, skilled in increasing revenues and profits. The stores also received significant sentences. Jose Mari Torres was sentenced in November 2020 to 12 years in prison. Peter Donghai Kim received 10 years and 10 months in May 2022, and Mirtha Susan Ramos Mazuela, Ramos's mother, was sentenced in July 2021 to 11 years and 6 months. Her defense argued she was manipulated by her son, but the judge found this reasoning unconvincing. On the lower end of the syndicate, Sam James Edmonds, the catcher, was sentenced in February 2022 to 8 months home detention, with the judge noting he appeared to have been rebuilding his life. On the 9th of June 2023, Xavier Valent appeared for his own sentencing, barely reacting when the sentence was handed down. Justice Fitzgerald noted the quantum of drugs proven at trial was staggering: 85 to 93 kilograms of methamphetamine, 3 kilograms of cocaine, at least 43.5 kilograms of MDMA, and 85 kilograms of ephedrine. She added she had no doubt the actual quantity extended significantly beyond this, into the hundreds of kilograms. She described his offending as among the most serious, sophisticated, profitable, and sustained. She noted that addiction played no role, and that he showed limited insight or remorse. Xavier Valent was sentenced to life imprisonment, one of only 4 such sentences for meth-related offences in New Zealand history. Justice Fitzgerald noted she was in largely uncharted waters, and after examining case law, concluded that for crimes outside of murder she couldn't impose a fixed minimum term. Therefore, Valent received the standard automatic 10-year period before he would be eligible for parole. The Operation Mystic case exposed more than just the drug syndicate. It highlighted the ecosystem of professional enablers that allow organized crime to flourish. In 2020, the then police minister Stuart Nash commented that white-collar professionals are driving offending by gangs. This was illustrated in the separate trial of Kathy Hua, the money lady who ran a money remittance shop in Newmarket. Through this one launderer, police estimated Valent had extracted at least $26 million in profit, with Kathy only being later convicted of laundering $18 million. Text messages showed her complaining to Valent about wet sticky cash covered with white powder, stating, "Our staff sick of counting wet money. Are you sure not drug money? I am scared of drug money." She was found guilty and sentenced to 7.5 years, though this was later reduced to 6. The case also highlighted the personal ruin left in the syndicate's wake. Justice Rebecca Edwards described Storeman Peter Donghai Kim's offending as a fall from grace, as Kim was running an internet cafe and working as a personal trainer around the same time he became friends with a member of the drug syndicate, noting the irreparable and incalculable misery that comes with meth offending. For all his business acumen, Valent's empire was built on weak links. He would quote the 10 crack commandments, rules like never get high on your own supply, but these rules were constantly broken by his vulnerable drug-addicted workers. For Xavier Valent, his sentencing was the fulfillment of a warning given years earlier. During his 2010 sentencing, Justice Lang had warned him that continued offending would lead to very long periods of the best years of his life in jail. In Valent's 2023 sentencing, Justice Fitzgerald recalled that warning and concluded that prediction has come true. Ultimately, the case of Xavier Valent serves as a warning to anyone drawn in by the allure of criminal endeavors. His story documents the tale of a man noted by judges as being intelligent and business savvy, but cruel, cold, and calculated with total disregard for the well-being of others, driven solely by profit and power. What are your thoughts on the sentencing for high-level sophisticated drug offending compared to that of lower-level addiction-driven crime? Do you consider a life sentence in New Zealand to really be a life sentence? Share your perspectives in the comments below. If you found this documentary informative, Please consider liking this video and subscribing for more in-depth explorations of often overlooked, lesser-known stories. Who else would you like to see us detail next? Your engagement helps us continue to shed light on otherwise unheard narratives.